On this episode of In the Fight, service members head home after their final deployment to Afghanistan. A new Afghan organization looks to rid corruption from within its ranks. We meet a team tasked with responding to crises at American embassies. A group of combat engineers find themselves between a rock and a hard place. And an annual event aims to assist local veterans in need. It's what every service member deployed to Afghanistan looks forward to, going home. NATO Channel correspondent Mel Preen speaks with some of the troops getting ready to head back to the United States after a long deployment, and brings us this story.
They're at the end of their deployment. Hundreds of the 10,000 US Marines being sent home this year as part of the drawdown of troops.
I got my wife and my newborn baby girl who was born while I was here waiting for me, so I can't wait.
It's bittersweet, you know, it feels good to go home, but my boys are still back outside the wire, so I still feel like I should be with them.
Bagram is the most populated airbase in Afghanistan and the busiest for flights. Soldiers passing through here are either ripping in or ripping out, as it's known. 30,000 US troops will have left country by October, the majority of them through Bagram, which has meant this base has seen a lot more activity than normal.
If you compare the month of August to the month of July, in July we moved anywhere between 900 to 1,200 passengers a day, and now we're closer to 1,800 to 2,100. It's good that because of the Afghan security forces are able to sustain themselves, the need for our troops are less and less, and we're actually deploying people back home, and they don't have replacements, and the numbers down here are shrinking a little bit.
These Marines have completed a 7-month tour in Sangin in Helmand, an area which has claimed many lives, both American and British.
The past year in Sangin, it had its ups and downs. It's a lot quieter than it was in the past couple of years, so we are starting to make some real good progress.
Historically, the area was just really bad, just, really IED infested. My platoon operated in the fish tank. It was an experience. Found a lot of families every day, find IEDs, took a lot of contact.
It's crazy. I mean, you got 10-foot tall corn and all that good stuff. The IED is a little bit harder to find. We didn't take as much contact as they did out there in the brown zone, but it was hard to find people out there.
Nearly 70,000 US troops will remain in Afghanistan for now. More will likely return home next year and the following, until the end of 2014, which is when the Afghans will be given full responsibility for securing their country. This is Mel Preen in Bagram for the NATO Channel.
Not all issues related to the freedom and safety of Afghanistan are a result of insurgent activity. Sometimes the problem is a direct result from activities within the Afghan groups sworn to protect the country. But as Army Staff Sergeant April Tesmer shows us, a new Afghan organization is looking to reverse this dilemma.
Two major problems facing Afghanistan are corruption and security. One active component whose mission is combating both of those issues is an organization within ISAF and US4A known as Shafafia. Shafafia means transparency in Pashto and Dari. Shafafia was founded in 2010 by General H.R. McMasters in response to General Petraeus' findings on the prevalence of corruption within the Afghan government that was undermining and eroding a powerful administration. Recently, a ceremony held in Lashkar Gah in Helmand Province established the Zonal Shafafia Committee aimed at countering internal corruption among its ranks within the Afghan National Police.
We need to assist the Afghans towards a transition in a unity of effort between us and the Afghans to provide what is necessary to really move this country forward. Especially here in Helmand, there's a lot of corruption, a lot of base for corruption due to the huge production of narcotics here.
Shafafia targets three major threats to the security of the Afghan government: insurgency, narcotics, and criminal networks. The counter-corruption strategies used by Shafafia are to encourage and influence Afghan government officials to maintain ethical and professional standards, thereby creating and maintaining a solid, accountable state. This influence was prevalent as 7 similar Shafafia committees have been established throughout the country. The commissions are challenged to help Afghanistan develop their law enforcement institutions. Afghan officials say that this will help ensure a stable and peaceful future for Afghanistan's children. Army Staff Sergeant April Tesmer, Helmand, Afghanistan.
The war in Afghanistan has redefined the role of a soldier so that he must wear many hats. In some cases, soldiers must play the role of a detective as they hunt down Taliban fighters. Airman Jimmy Moreland explains in this report.
A handful of American and Albanian soldiers travel through the open desert just outside a forward operating base in southern Afghanistan. The fine sand and lack of improved roadways make for difficult travel, and the journey is interrupted several times to retrieve stuck vehicles. Their destination is a hill that overlooks the nearby base, which they'll have to climb on foot.
We were pushing up to check out the building that was on top of that hill over there, and we were just making sure there was no, weapons, and I guess we've had units before find some stuff up there, so our unit decided to go check it out.
Army leadership suspects that Taliban fighters have been using the hilltop as an observation point.
As soon as I got up in that hill and I looked down towards the direction of the fob was, it was very obvious why the enemy would like to be up there.
The building is well constructed, of brick and mortar rather than mud. Its apparent age leads members of the patrol to guess that it is of Russian construction. Whatever its origin, the recent tenants have left evidence of their activities.
I went in the building to see eyes on because I'm a minehound, making sure there was no booby traps, no IEDs.
From just outside the building, the platoon leader spots another building on the next hilltop. Rather than having to come back later to investigate, he decides to check it out now.
It's extremely common. It happens almost every mission. When you're on the ground, things are totally different than when you're in the stages of planning the mission.
The second site offers similar signs of recent activity. The soldiers document everything they can and begin the hazardous trek back down the hill.
I feel confident now knowing what's up there and knowing if time being we need to get up there, how, when, and what time to do it.
The information gathered atop these 2 hills will provide coalition forces with a clearer picture of the battlefield, increasing their tactical advantage in the region. Airman Jimmy Moreland, Southern Afghanistan.
Hi, this is Senior Airman Stephen Unglesby, stationed near Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan. Just wanted to give a shout out to my wife, Camille, my daughter, Alex. I miss you guys.
Hi, this is Specialist Yolanda Eddings with the United States Army, all the way over here from Kandahar, Afghanistan. I hope you all are doing great. I'd just like to say hi to my family and friends from Washington and Colorado. Hope you guys are doing good. I will see you soon.
My name is Captain Craig Elliott. I'm with Mile 16 Forward at Camp Bastion, Afghanistan. I want to say hello to my wife, Alexandra, Michael, Stephanie. I miss you guys. Can't wait to see you soon.
Hello, this is Staff Sergeant Mary Healy, giving you a shout out from Fort Hunter Liggett, California. I'd like to say hello to all my family and friends in Woodridge, Illinois. Thank you for your support for me and all the other service members and veterans. Happy Thanksgiving.
Coming up, we meet a team tasked with responding to crises at American embassies. And a group of combat engineers find themselves between a rock and a hard place. Check out DivotsHub.net for the latest accurate and reliable information as In the Fight continues. In which of the following countries does the United States not have an embassy? The answer when we return.
I want to give a shout out to my family and friends.
I want to send a shout out to my husband,
to my parents, my family back home.
I'd like to give a shout out to my girlfriend.
To my family and friends in Lansing, Michigan.
To my family out in Tucson, Arizona.
My beautiful wife and children in Des Moines, Iowa.
To everybody in Texas.
In York, Pennsylvania.
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Chicago, Illinois.
Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Orlando, Florida. Oceanside, California.
And Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
I love you guys. I miss you. And I hope I'll see you soon.
From combat-related stress to the day-to-day stressors of life.
This package is going to be completed.
This is the 4th time this week.
Stress can affect every Marine and Marine family. The De-Stress Line provides anonymous counseling for Marines and Marine families when it's needed most. If you're feeling the effects of stress, call today and let us help you win your personal battles.
With the new Military 24/7 app from Divots, you turn your favorite mobile device into a window to the front lines. Connect with your nation's finest men and women through our video and photography archives and stay up to date with news reported directly from service members. Quickly share information and breaking stories with friends via Facebook, Twitter, or email. News, photos, video. Your military 24/7.
In which of the following countries does the United States not have an embassy? The answer is C, Iran. With the recent deadly attack on the U.S. Embassy in Libya continuing to dominate the headlines, the amount of adequate security at these embassies continues to be called into question. Marine Lance Corporal John Tucker introduces us to a team tasked with responding to these crises.
When an American embassy abroad is in trouble, Marine Corps Fleet Anti-Terrorism Security Teams, or FAST teams, answer the call. The teams specialize in riot control, high-tension security situations, close-quarters battle, and recapture tactics.
We're the nation's 911 force, need to be ready to be deployed anywhere at the forward of edge to defend our nation.
FAST teams are stationed worldwide to ensure a quick, decisive response to any threats against American citizens working abroad. Ready to go at a moment's notice, the teams are a reminder to the world that an attack against a few is an attack against all. From Norfolk, Virginia, I'm Lance Corporal John Tucker.
Imagine being tasked to hunt down IEDs on a daily basis. Now imagine that you're being shot at while disarming these explosive threats. That's just what happened as Marines of the 1st Combat Engineer Battalion found themselves caught between a rock and a hard place. Marine Corporal Michael Lopez files this report.
IEDs. They are the deadliest threat to coalition forces in Afghanistan, and clearing the roads of these explosive hazards is slow, tedious, and a volatile job. The top priority for these Marines with the 1st Combat Engineer Battalion is to ensure mobility along these dangerous routes.
We have our Husky, which can help find and detect the IEDs, our Buffalo, which can dig them out of the ground. We also use mine rollers, our explosive ordnance disposal teams to reduce all IEDs.
But while these tools are highly effective at eliminating IEDs, the challenge is daunting. Sometimes they have to do this while under fire.
It's supposed to be a one-day mission. Unfortunately, the area is a little bit rougher now. We've encountered quite a few IEDs and quite a bit of firefight. But my Marines were able to fight through, do the right thing.
And while engaging the enemy, the Marines were still able to methodically clear and push through this IED hotspot. But then
we missed one, and one of our 7 tons took a strike, probably a command det, which means they used that command wire. Wouldn't have been a pressure plate in that situation. They just targeted that vehicle. Had a little issues getting a wrecker. We didn't have the wrecker with us, so just had to sit and wait.
For 3 days, until the wreckage could be moved and cleared. The mission took longer than expected to complete, but it was accomplished, enabling movement of supplies and troops through this area. Reporting from the Sangin River Valley in Helmand Province, Afghanistan, I'm Marine Corporal Michael Lopez.
Technological advances can in many ways make combat safer for service members. But before these new systems can be deployed, a period of training needs to take place. Air Force Tech Sergeant Michael Jackson files this report.
Meet the M1126 Stryker, an infantry carrier vehicle that can engage enemy targets with a remote weapon system, which the gunner operates from within the vehicle.
Troops up in lane 1, 12 o'clock, 300 meters, engage. Got it.
Stryker Brigade soldiers from the 1st Battalion, 21st Infantry Regiment are at the Pohokaloa training area on Hawaii's Big Island, so their gunners and vehicle commanders can train.
They start off at a static position where they acquire the targets from ranging distance between 200 to 1,000 meters. And then basically the qualifying event, both day and night, is 2 vehicles at a section will bound, acquire targets, and engage.
Bounding involves 2 vehicles maneuvering one at a time, with one providing cover fire as the other moves. Vehicle commanders, or VCs, and their gunners qualify and train together as a team.
Target identified. Looks to be about 800 meters.
That relationship is crucial to the success of the mission.
In order for that vehicle commander to trust his gunner, they have to be able to see what they're doing and actually be able to communicate with each other.
You got another one to your left.
Say the gunner's scanning and he's not seeing his target. The VC's set out of his hatch. He can actually spot that target because he has more of a peripheral vision other than the screen that we have.
The soldiers also took time to train with their other crew weapons, including the M240 Lima machine gun. Infantry members sharpening their skills, so their striker operations become muscle memory in a real-world situation. Tech Sergeant Michael Jackson, Pohokuloa Training Area, Hawaii.
In the United States, someone commits suicide every 15 minutes, claiming more than 36,000 lives each year. In 2012, more service members have died by their own hand than have perished during combat operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. Army Sergeant Chad Guthrie tells us about a group of people walking to save lives.
Soldiers lined the field behind the 593rd Sustainment Brigade headquarters for Out of the Darkness Community Walk. Volunteers showed up in support of the Army's Suicide Prevention Week.
Obviously, the military has been doing great work with it, but there's next steps forward. And this is one of those steps forward, is the Out of the Darkness Awareness Walk, to create a way for soldiers to be able to open up and talk about mental health and mental illnesses, and also some of their personal experiences with loss.
Most soldiers did open up about their experiences and were given beads to represent lost comrades.
I had a friend of mine commit suicide, so definitely it's nice to know that people are supporting it and trying to make a difference in it.
I lost my very first squad leader, as a matter of fact. I've known him for almost over 10 years, and, I found out when I was in Virginia that he committed suicide, and it really hurt,
In a letter to the troops, the Chief of Staff of the Army, General Raymond Odierno, states how important this issue is. And every life lost to suicide is a tragedy to our families, to our units, and to our Army. For the 28th Public Affairs Detachment, I'm Army Sergeant Chad Guthrie.
Hi, I'm Sergeant First Class Jake Newman with the 1st Infantry Division headquarters here at Bagram, Afghanistan. I'd like to send a shout out to my wife Anna, who is a grad student at the Security Studies program at K-State, and I'd like to say, go Cats.
Hello, I'm Staff Sergeant Andrew Rentz from Katy, Texas, currently deployed to Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan. Just want to give a shout out to my family and friends back home. Miss you guys, see you soon.
Hey everybody, Sergeant Morris, I'm here in Afghanistan, Helmand Province. I want to say a shout out to my family, everybody back home. All is well, I'll be back soon.
Hello, my name is Specialist Mitchell, and I'm here at 400 Liggett, California, and I just wanted to give a shout out to my family in Philadelphia, PA. Hey Mom, Tammy Goodlow and Daron Goodlow, my little brother. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving and holiday, and I'll see you really soon.
Coming up, an annual event aims to assist local veterans in need. And we'll showcase some of the best photos from our service members as In the Fight, presented by Divots, continues. In what year did Hawaii join the United States? The answer when we return.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
With the new Military 24/7 app from Divots, you turn your favorite mobile device into a window to the front lines. Connect with your nation's finest men and women through our video and photography archives and stay up to date with news reported directly from service members. Quickly share information and breaking stories with friends via Facebook, Twitter, or email. News, photos, video. Your military 24/7.
In what year did Hawaii join the United States? The answer is C, 1959. Pulling weeds is an ongoing job for any serious gardener. Air Force Tech Sergeant Michael Jackson introduces us to one group of conservationists in Hawaii that removes weeds to support the mission of the U.S. Army.
Members of the U.S. Army Oahu Natural Resources Team, along with local volunteers, climb Mount Ka'ala, the highest peak on Oahu Island, and a place where you can still find native rainforest. The team is removing species of non-native weeds that threaten this fragile ecosystem.
You need 1 liter per square meter.
One of these weeds is a moss called Sphagnum palustre.
What we're using to control the sphagnum moss is a non-toxic herbicide. It's a mixture of clove oil and citric acid, and we use a 10% dilution in water and basically apply a blue dye, so what you see up here at Ka'ala actually looks like blue after it's been treated.
The blue dye helps the team mark its progress. They also removed a wetland weed that has moved into this area.
It's called Juncus effusus. It's just another really weedy plant that we don't want establishing itself here in the native forests of Ka'ala. Basically, to control Juncus, we're going to dig that out with trowels and shovels.
This rainforest is partly on U.S. Army land, since nearby Schofield Barracks extends onto Ka'ala. That makes protection of the native plants and animals, some of which are endangered, part of the Army mission here.
Any federal agency has the responsibility of protecting endangered species on their land, and this being Hawaii, we have a significant number of endangered plants and animals, and the Army takes that responsibility very seriously. They support a team of nearly 60 people on our staff, the Natural Resource Program. We can kind of maintain that balance and ensure that the Army can continue to train in these large areas, but also continue to protect these plants and animals that are unique to Hawaii.
Today, the team is using tools purchased with money it won from the Defense Department's Public Lands Day Legacy Program, which funds projects that preserve military land for public enjoyment.
And it just underlines, I think, the military's recognition on how important controlling invasive species is and protecting these native habitats.
Welch added that this was the 4th year in a row that her team has received this money. Tech Sergeant Michael Jackson, Mount Ka'ala, Hawaii.
The words veteran and homeless should never be used together, but unfortunately that isn't always the reality. Army Sergeant Janelle Sennert takes us to an annual event which aims to assist local veterans in need.
This is our annual Homeless Veterans Stand Down. It's a community event. We have close to $200,000 in Army surplus and donations of things such as bedding, boots, anything to serve our homeless veterans. And then we have all these representatives from agencies that serve homeless veterans with anything from benefits to employment to health screenings.
I got a sleeping bag today and a blanket, and some underwear and long johns and stuff that's going to help keep us warm and continue surviving on the streets until we get to the part of society that we're trying to get to.
A lot of these veterans, I know them personally, and I mean, they're a wonderful group to have around. You know, a lot of them have moved on to permanent housing, jobs, and it's very, very fulfilling to see them now have their own self-sufficiency, their own success plan. A lot of them have gotten their degrees. Most of them are permanently housed now.
I gotta admit it, the VA saved my life. and they have me off the streets now, and I'm in several programs, and everything's good.
We have a community that is so supportive of veterans, and homeless veterans in particular. Just seeing all the people that are out here, the outpouring, the support.
Sir, can we help you with something?
We have so many volunteers that want to help our initiative that we have to turn some of them away. And that's a good problem to have when you have to turn away volunteers that want to help you.
Divots is a 24/7 operation that provides a timely, accurate, and reliable connection between the media and the military serving worldwide. Through a network of over 200 portable satellite transmitters around the globe and a distribution hub in Atlanta, Georgia, Divots gives you access to the front lines with live and archived broadcast video, still imagery, and print products. Visit our website at divotshub.net and search through our enormous video and photo library. Register on our website to gain complete access to high-definition content, along with breaking news alerts and webcasts from top military officials. For questions or comments about In the Fight or Divots, you can email us at ondemand@divotshub.net or follow us on Twitter and Facebook. As we close, we feature some of the best photos that Divots has to offer, as we listen to Eddie Horst's composition, Pangea. See you next time, In the Fight.